You're listening to the Focused and Fearless podcast. I'm your host, Heather Angel, and I've been helping people tune into what lights them up and increase their personal and professional performance for over a decade. Now I'm best known as a high-performance coach helping entrepreneurs like you cut through the noise and create a business and life on your terms. If you're ready to step out of struggle and discover how simple it can be to create a fulfilling, joyful, and successful business without all the overwhelm and long hours, you're in the right place. Hey, beautiful Focused and Fearless people. Complete transparency, this is the fourth time I've recorded this podcast episode. Not gonna lie, feeling a little bit tired and jaded today because I am batch creating a ton of content, because today is the 9th of March 2020 and I live in the UK, and because of coronavirus, the UK government are suggesting that we might shut down the schools. Now, as a mum with a business, I'm like, okay, 2 weeks with my darling children running around the house, I better batch create a ton of podcast episodes, because I'm saying 2 weeks, who knows what's going to happen. Podcast episodes are definitely not one of those things that I can do while my kids are around. So I've been doing lots of content creation today, podcasts, blogs, social media, video, and I think my brain is fried slightly. So this is probably going to be a shorter episode, but I've got a very clear message that I want to share with you about the glamorization of entrepreneurship. I don't even know if glamorization is a word, but we're going to use it for this podcast episode. So bear with me. This is where we're at. If you go on Instagram, if you have a business or you're starting a business, it is so easy to see entrepreneurship as the only way. The only way. It's like the only thing people can do. Like having a job is a bad thing. I have seen people on Instagram talk about having a job like it's a really negative thing. Like you shouldn't be working for someone else, and, you know, go out there and live your best life and quit your job and blah, 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 blah. What absolute ridiculous advice. If the whole world quit their jobs tomorrow, we would be screwed. Who's going to do the bin collections? Who's going to teach our children? Who's going to be the receptionist at the doctor's surgery? Who's going to be our doctors? You know, I know in America, if you're listening, you have a slightly different system, but over here, that's a job for most of our doctors and nurses. They work for the NHS. If they all quit tomorrow and was like, I'm going to set up my own entrepreneurial thing, we'd be screwed. Not everyone needs to be an entrepreneur to be living their best life. There is nothing wrong with having a job. Nothing. And I know you might think this is a bit of a strange thing for me to be talking about, because I am an entrepreneur. I do identify as an entrepreneur. I have a business. I have it gives me a full-time salary. It's thriving, it's growing, it's all the good things, and it lights me up. And I genuinely would probably be the worst employee in the world now, because it's either my way or the highway. I'm too used to being the boss. I can't imagine working for anybody else. I'd be a nightmare. So that's for me though. That's my life, my choices, and I truly believe that is my path. That doesn't mean it has to be for you. Okay, so there might be, I appreciate that most people listening to this are probably already on the entrepreneurship path, or, you know, taking their first steps. But, you know, there's no judgment towards people that choose not to go down that route. And I think we are seeing an increase definitely of people setting up their own business, which I think is fabulous, and I will talk about that in a second. I think everyone should have their own business, in inverted commas. But entrepreneurship is not the only way to be having an amazing, fulfilling life. What I think we need to be looking at is that if you have started a business, and I know I see this all the time because it happens with my Focused and Fearless members, it happens with people that I'm having conversations with on Instagram who are reaching out for private work. They are saying to me, well, you know, I quit my job or I got made redundant, so I've started setting up this business, but I've been going for about a year now and nothing's really happening. I'm not really making any money. I've had a couple of clients or made a couple of sales, but something's not working. And now I've maxed out my credit cards and I don't know what to do. Now, it breaks my heart when I have these conversations with people, because I did exactly the same thing when I set up my first company, which some of you might not know I had this, but I had a wedding planning company. before I realised that was totally not the path I was supposed to be on, and set up my coaching business instead, and trained in that. But that wedding planning company, I left my job, I got a good redundancy pay, and oh my gosh, the first year was a disaster. What I would have been wiser doing is keeping a part-time element of work, so a paid employment of some sort, and building my business on the side. Because I didn't know enough about business to make it work. And I also had a mortgage, husband, children, I had responsibilities, but I was just like, oh no, can't do that. Follow my ego. I can't possibly think about getting a job because that would be giving in. That's not going to work. I can't build my business and have a job. And that's just a BS story we're telling ourselves. If that's the story going around your mind, that is a story and nothing else. I know people who have created very successful businesses whilst still in a corporate job. Okay, and quite frankly, they're amazing. I have one of them in my the one that's coming to my mind is in my Focused and Fearless group at the moment, my Focused and Fearless membership. Oh my gosh, what she's creating is so beautiful, so amazing. It's going to be wildly successful. I know it to my core. And she still does a corporate job and has children. Like, it can be done. You don't need to quit your job and struggle financially, get yourself into a ton of credit card debt just to set up a business. In fact, it's not the way I would recommend it at all. So if you are listening to this and you've started your business and it's not really going to plan, okay, you're struggling, you're not really getting the clients in, the credit cards are starting to get a little bit creaky because you've used them a few too many times, and I'm talking to you from a place, I was using my credit card to pay for food because the money I was bringing in from my wedding business was paying my credit card debt. It was a cluster of a situation. I wish someone had said to me and given me the permission to go, do you know what? It's okay. You could get a part-time job while you build this business up. But I didn't. I didn't have any. I was following people that were like, no, go all in, build the business, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just bung everything on Visa for the time being then. And that was, that was not the right path for me. Maybe that is the right path for you. And if you build up a load of credit card debt, all you need is one amazing launch, one incredible client, and you can probably clear it. And I know that might be the thought pattern that's going around your mind. You're like, oh, if I could just sign that contract, if I could just get that one client in, it would clear my debt. I'd be back on an even keel and I can start, growing this. But if you don't know the mechanics, the strategy of how to actually get that business growing in the first place, you're still going to struggle. So we've gone on a slight tangent. This is all about the glamorization of entrepreneurship. But I do want to invite you, if you are in that position, if you've got a coaching, a therapy, or a healing practice, or you're a consultant and you're like, okay, something is not working in this business. I haven't got the momentum. I haven't got the clients, and I'm not making the money I want to. I invite you to come and join us in Focused and Fearless, which is my membership. DM me on Instagram. Let's just have a chat and see if it would be a good fit for you, because I want to help you. Because if you've started a business, it's for a reason, okay? You were taken on that path for a reason. So I'd love to help you. DM me, check out the links in the show notes if you're interested in that. But what we need to look at is that entrepreneurship doesn't need to be the be all and end all of living your best life. You can follow a passion without turning it into a business. If you absolutely love to write, then write. It doesn't have to become a business straight away. It might evolve into a business. Maybe you set up a blog, you get picked up by, seen by someone and you become a guest blogger, or who knows where it might go into, or you might end up writing a book. Who knows what the future might hold? But I think we're seeing so often this message of follow your passion, live your best life, blah, 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 blah. And then I see people, because I end up working with them in the aftermath. They only find me, unfortunately, when they're like, oh my God, I need help. Rather than at that beginning stage when they're like, I could have, helped guide them in the first place. They've kind of believed that. They've followed their passion, whatever that might be. and they've set up this business and it's not working because they haven't got the tools, whether those be internal mindset, ways of being, identity, thought processes, all that stuff, or whether it be just like they haven't quite nailed their messaging and their marketing. They haven't quite identified their niche. All those different things, all those tiny little things that can make such a difference in your business, that might be all that needs changing. But what I want to get across to you today, and I know I'm jumping around a little bit, I will be completely honest, my brain is a little bit fried, but what I want to get really clearly across for you today is that there is no shame in having an employed job. There is no judgment on having an employed job. Not everyone needs to be an entrepreneur. But what I did say at the beginning that I want to make sure I'm really clear about is that if you do have a job, and even if you have a business, if that is your only income stream, so that's the only way you make money, that's where you need to focus your attention. Because if you've only got one income stream, if that income stream dries up, so if you don't sign a new client or if you got sacked from your job, where's the money going to come from? And this is where we need to look at diversifying where your money comes from. Okay, because you need to be attracting it, bring it into your life from different sources. And this is, again, another core issue, I think, with the glamorization of entrepreneurship is that if you've started your business, you will only really ever see on things like Instagram or social media, you'll only ever see the front end of what's happening in somebody's business. So you'll see these entrepreneurs talking about their memberships or their programs or their group trainings or whatever it might be that they do. And you're like, wow, they're making all this money and having this incredible lifestyle from this. That might not actually be the case. So I'll give you, I'm always really, really happy to just share and give you a proper behind the scenes on my business. You will primarily see me talk about Focused and Fearless. That's my brand. It's my planner. It's my podcast. It's my online membership. Okay. That is what it is. Focused and Fearless. That's the key thing you will hear me talk about over and over and over and over and over again. That's not necessarily, well, it isn't where I get all of my money from. I get a nice amount of money from my Focused and Fearless brand, but actually I work with people privately. I have VIP days. I have a buy-to-let property. I have cryptocurrencies. I have other ways that money comes into my life, not just Focused and Fearless. So if you've been following me for a while, you might just see like, oh wow, she's making all this money from her membership. Yeah, I'm making money from my membership and I'm truly grateful and blessed to be able to do that. And the people inside are amazing. But that's not the only way I'm making money. And it's really important. I think you need to be aware that actually for you, if you're building this business, say you're starting out as a life coach, for example, if you're building that business, amazing. But if it's not bringing you in enough money right now, there is no shame in taking a job. And I'm not saying you have to commit to something forever. You can change your reality in a nanosecond, okay? You could sign that one client that leads on to another client, that leads on to a book deal, that leads on to traveling around the world and speaking on world stages. You have no idea what is possible for you. It's so exciting. That's what I love about entrepreneurship. You just never know. But if right in this second, you're running your business from a place of absolute terror and fear because you're not bringing in enough money to pay your mortgage, go and get a little part-time job. Okay? Now, if you're a Focused and Fearless member, we would go through this. We would look at different ways. It may just be actually we just need to take you up to a 10,000 foot view of your business and take you out of the weeds and get you working on what matters. And you might be able to turn this business around in a few days. Okay? Totally possible. It's happened. Done it myself, seen it happen with other people. But if you've been offered a little part-time job which would work perfectly for you, there's no harm in taking it. You might only need to take it for a few weeks. But there is no shame in having a job. It's not all about like, oh, rah, happy, being an entrepreneur, laptop lifestyle, blah, blah, blah. Okay, it takes effort and so much inner work to get to that stage. But you don't need to struggle. That's really what I want to get across in this episode. I'm going to wrap it up in a second because don't be swept away by this glamorous facade of entrepreneurship. Okay? There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. And like I said, the revenue is not necessarily coming to these entrepreneurs from the one thing that they're talking about. All right? It's really important. In fact, my mentor, James Wedmore, I'll be talking about his amazing program later on this year. But James Wedmore, through Business by Design, he shared on his podcast all his different revenue streams. He's got loads of them. Loads. But he doesn't talk about all of them. You know, he's a very wealthy guy and he's having an incredibly successful life. But he talks about primarily Business by Design. And he mentions his different masterminds. He doesn't talk about all the things all the time. So you've just got to be aware that when you're seeing this shiny, shiny version of entrepreneurship, it is literally the tip of the iceberg. And if for you right now, you've got a corporate job and you're building a business, let's have a conversation, because you don't have to be all or nothing, one or the other. We can absolutely work through how you build that business up to get proof of concept, to get those clients in, so that you can move away from your corporate job confidently, knowing that actually you've proved that this business can work. To yourself, not to anyone else, but to yourself. So I'm going to wrap it up here because, as I said, my voice is getting a bit scratchy, which you can probably hear. Which I probably shouldn't say on a day when coronavirus is going absolutely crazy. But I'm just going to wrap it up. Please know that wherever you are right now, in terms of your business and where it's going and what's happening, you're doing a great job. You are doing a great job, because even if you've just started, you've done the bravest thing ever, because most people don't even start. They don't even dare follow their dream. So if you would like some help, you know you are very welcome to speak to me about joining the Focused and Fearless membership. The idea is we work through privately, one-to-one, and in the membership and with the group and all that good stuff. I can help you create a bit more momentum, get those clients in, work through maybe some of the limiting levels of belief that you've got that are stopping you at the moment, and we can help you transition away from the 9 to 5. And actually, I can help support you see if you have gone all in with your business, whether getting a little part-time job is the best way forward, or if actually we can just work out on a couple of tweaks that you need on your current business to just get that baby turned around. So I'll link it all up in the show notes. Focused and Fearless is open to new members, so you are very welcome to explore that if it's an option for you. All right, my beautiful ones, have an incredible rest of the day, and I'll see you on the next episode. Thank you for listening to the Focused and Fearless podcast. If you'd like to continue the conversation or have a question that you would like answered in an upcoming episode, head over to Instagram and connect with me at Heather Angel Coaching. If you enjoy this podcast, please share your thoughts in a review on iTunes. I truly value your feedback and I take the time to read every single review. Have a beautiful week, and I'll see you in the next episode.